Okay, hey there. I wanted to show this extra step in its own little video just because I didn't want to make the other videos too long. My previous video is a budget setup check-in, I guess. My budget from May 24th through today, May 30th, which is a Thursday. Okay. So this next step that I normally do in my budgeting is once the budget has been set and we've already allocated all of the expenses. So we put them in whatever categories. We did our breakdown, and then just filled in our trackers here. So then what I do is I'll go down the budget list just to make sure if anything is on a card, that I make note of it. That way I can pay back the card. So I did kind of do a little bit off. So going down is the first thing is the weekend. So we spent $664.24. So I wrote that over here too. And then I break down what that was. I don't break it down per purchase. I group it per what method it was used to be bought. Oh my gosh. If it was debit or credit card and which credit card. So I broke down our weekend here, and this is what it totaled out to. So $51.73 was our debit card. So this definitely has to come out of the 150 budget because it's cash, so it's already gone. So from the 150 cash, I have $98.27 left over. It looks like there's $74 of purchases on our Chase credit card. So minus the $98, Chase credit card still has a balance of $24.27 for those purchases. And then Amex is the biggest of $538.51. But this is all of our weekend spending. So I had mentioned that I had some money from our breakdown. This is our rollover breakdown. And I had set aside $500 for this weekend. So with the $500, that will go to that and then only give us a balance on the Amex of $14.24. Is that right? Yes. Yeah. And so I pretty much do this for each category. So gas was only one purchase. It totaled $78.68, but I'm going to go ahead and give it the 79. And then internet and electric. So these are things that are budgeted, and that's pretty much how I do the breakdown. If something comes out cash or debit, that's the first to go, and then kind of go from there. It also lets me see if there is going to be a balance on the card. I can see how much it is, and then if I go through the expenses, I can see what expenses it was if I really want to get down to all of those details. So yeah, so electric was actually $236 and I only budgeted $200. So I either can leave the 36 as a balance on this card, or find it and pay it off. So once we go down this, um, let's see. Okay. So then it would be food, but I haven't finished food. So I'm gonna do that payback at a later time, maybe on Saturday when I actually close out the whole week. Daycare is debit, internet, I have that here, electric and On Point, something else. Okay, and then we will go through our expenses, our expense tracking, if there's anything that is a separate category other than the ones on the main budget sheet. So let me think of one, or let me see of one. This one down here is game controller. We just have one Amazon account. My son bought this, but he gave me cash. So that's not any of the categories. I think, yeah. So here is my husband's card that we usually spend on when he's in town. So there was a couple of things that he bought for himself, so his own money, and there's a couple of things on here that go under the trips and travel fund that we have, or category that we have. So dad ended up spending $239.94. And for trips and travel, it was a total of $118.65. So technically these two, we have sinking funds for them, but they're not fully funded. So I'm not counting that. These are just other spending category, our main spending categories that we spend on. So this came all from one card, and this came all from one card. So this will either stay on there as a balance or make it a priority. So look for money in rollover or wherever else to pay that off. But at least we could see that there's this balance on this card because of these things or these purchases. So then, to make it as complicated as it possibly can be, is I do this sometimes, I guess when I have extra time, I noticed is when I'll do this. Okay. So then I will total it all completely up and to make it into smaller categories. So like, so there's debit, there's our Chase credit card, there's Amex that we spent on, Capital One, and then that's it. So then I will total it all up, and then here I'm just gonna write 200 and then leave the 36. Yeah. So yeah, then I'll total it up, and then when we make the payments, this will be easier. This is easier for me to see that all of this got actually paid off or not, because we will mark it off here. And so I know whatever is on here is actually paid back. And if not, then it's on this page. I know it's a lot. It's like a lot of micromanaging the details, but this is the way my brain works. And it makes sense to me, and it keeps me sane and organized. So I like this method. I haven't always done it. Um, so I'm just getting into the groove of doing it better. I don't know if I should add this sheet into the notebook or if I should do it separate. When I do it separate, the sheet always gets lost. So I don't know. When it's times like this is when I really think, man, I should really work on a Franken planner. Because I always make these forms and I want to make them more insertable, but yeah. So I'm going to fill these out and I will report back in one of the videos letting you know once everything is paid off. But this is the other breakdown that I do for our money, just to make sure that everything is getting paid back, because that is a big step of ours that we weren't doing. We weren't paying our credit cards back even though money was being budgeted. We were just making minimum payments, and whatever we added that week would just be a new balance. So I feel like, yes, this is a lot of doing, but if this is what helps me avoid that, that is what I'm going to do. So yeah, stay tuned for my budget setup, which will be my next video. Watch my previous one, which was for this week's setup, even though it's at the end of the week. But yeah, hopefully this gave you some tips or ideas or anything. But leave me a comment if you liked it, didn't like it, let me know. And I will see you guys on Saturday. Bye.